So beginning on your back, come to a comfortable position with your legs and your feet. So that might mean that your feet are about hip width apart, or they could be wider or closer. Could be that your knees stay apart, or you could let the knees drop in towards one another. If it feels uncomfortable for you in your neck, shoulder, head area, like if you find your chin's pointing way up or there's just a lot of tension here, I suggest putting a little bit of height, maybe a blanket under your head, or rolling up a towel and placing it under your neck curve. But just be mindful that you're not like propping your head up. So we want to try to repattern all the curves in our spine back to their natural neutral state. So once you're set up and comfortable, we'll place the thumbs in the navel space and then joining the first fingers together so we have a diamond shape. Point the fingers down towards the pubic bone. Close your eyes. And just let your body relax as much as you can. Let your body sink into the support of the ground beneath you. Ungrip, unclench the body. Relax your mind. Soften your face. And bring your attention to your breath, to the sensation of your breath. And we'll start with noticing the feeling of our breath down at the base of the spine and in this low belly area. So just observing what you feel here between the hands, that diamond shape of the hands as you breathe in and out. Notice the rhythm of the breath, the volume of the breath. And each time you exhalation, try to relax a little bit more. Let go of any rigidity or clenching in your belly area, in your lower back area. Unclench the jaw, the buttocks. And feel the rise and fall of the breath in the belly. So that each time you take a breath in, the belly swells a little up. It expands, it fills. And each time you exhale, the belly hollows towards the ground. And try to lengthen the space between the breaths so that your breath cycles become slower, longer, more mindful. So we're awakening our connection to the breath body and cultivating awareness in general. So really this is what the practice of yoga is awareness of connecting to the breath, of noticing the mind state, observing the physical body. So from here we'll just adjust our hands so we can feel the breath in the rib cage. So your hands can wrap around the ribs. You can keep your eyes closed or open them, keeping them soft. And the elbows will be out to the side. Again, watch that you're not lifting your shoulders to your ears. You've got lots of space between your ears and your shoulders. Here, feeling the expression of your breath through your rib cage. Particularly here, we're feeling the breath through the side body, so the lateral breath. Feeling of the rib bones widening out to the side when we breathe in, a spaciousness between the rib bones, and then the rib bones releasing, relaxing back in towards the center as we breathe out. And keeping your attention here with the sensation of breath. Observing what you notice with your breath, with your body. And then we'll shift the hands to feel the upper part of the torso, the lungs, so your fingers can point towards your neck and your throat. Palms can kind of nestle over the front of the chest. And feeling the sensation of breath here in the lungs, especially the upper part of our lungs. Our lungs are quite big. They take up a lot of our torso. And often we don't breathe with the full capacity of our lungs. So that when you breathe in, notice the feeling of your breath up high, where your upper fingertips are, to the collarbones and upper shoulders, even the neck space. And as you exhale, again, the softening, the letting go. Feeling of expanding the lungs fully, like big balloons filling up. And then a slow releasing of all the air, all of the breath from the lungs. And letting go of tension in our breath can be the first step of letting go of tension in the physical body. If our breath is shallow or choppy, then that can create a lot of holding in the body, a lot of physical tension. And then just to feel the full expression of your breath, one palm can rest around your belly area and one up towards your chest area. Feeling sort of an evenness of expansion through both hands as you breathe in. So the front body expanding upwards towards the ceiling, and then as you exhale, a feeling of the body sinking down towards the ground, the hollowing, the releasing. The inhale, the expanding, and the exhale, hollowing. And now with this next exhalation, we can bring both hands down to the belly again. Let's exhale the belly towards the ground and hold it there quite firmly. You can keep your eyes closed or open them. And continue to breathe, holding your navel towards your spine. Continue to breathe without clenching your jaw or your buttocks. And just notice how that has to happen. How does that feel for you when you've anchored your belly to the ground? So that we can find that stabilizing action of navel towards spine, of this drawing from pubic bone to navel, a slight drawing upwards from the pelvic floor. But we're still breathing, we're not clenching. so that the rib cage and the lungs sort of take over for the expression of breath. Nice. So we'll come back to that again. Just let that all go, and let's bring our knees into our chest. And a very simple but very therapeutic movement or yoga pose is called Apanasana, or knees to chest. Sometimes it's called wind releasing pose. On your exhalation, just gently bringing your knees towards your chest more, so the tailbone will slightly lift from the ground, and then with your inhalation, just letting the knees shift forward. And we'll move to your own breath rhythm, so that each time you exhale, the knees come in, and each time you inhale, the knees shift away. So this is very therapeutic for stretching the lower back, for massaging the digestive organs of the body. It's common to have digestive issues with lower back pain. Again, just because things are so tense. So we kind of block the natural flow of things when we're tightening everything up. Especially if you have injury or pain in your back, it's a very natural response to pain is to grip. So if there's one thing you're going to practice every day, you could practice Apanasana. Yeah. And then the tailbone goes back down, and we extend up with the legs and circle our ankles. So we wake up the joint body. We can bring the arms up and circle into the wrists. And then place the feet down and bring the right knee in towards you. So for this movement, you can keep your left leg how it is, or you could slide your left leg down. And this is similar to Apanasana with just one knee. So as we exhale, we'll bring the knee in. And as you breathe in, you'll let the knee shift forward. Moving to the rhythm of your own breath, so that when you exhale, you'll bring the knee in closer to you. And when you breathe in, you'll move the knee away. As the knee shifts away, bring your hands around the back of your leg and just simply straighten and bend at the knee. And we want to keep moving slowly. There's no rush. The slower we move, the more we can really integrate the movement into the mind and the body and the nervous system. The next time the leg is up, we'll circle around. If we're rushing, then we keep the nervous system a little hyper, a little overactive. We keep the mind overstimulated. So we just want to slow everything down so we can really observe what's happening for us in our body. Then we'll put that side down and bring the other side in. And again, the opposite leg could stay where it is or could slide down to the ground. Exhaling the leg in closer. Inhaling the knee away. Bringing the knee in as you breathe out. Shifting the knee forward as you breathe in. Doing that a few more times to the rhythm of your breath. Not rushing. Noticing how this side feels. Maybe it feels different than the other side. When the leg shifts forward, we just try to straighten and bend the leg. So coaxing our hamstrings to stretch out a little. Circling the ankle in both directions. And then placing that foot down and both feet down. You can bring the feet and the knees right next to each other. We'll open the knees out, so like a butterfly, soles of the feet touching. And then we'll bring the knees back together and the feet to the ground. We can open the knees with the in-breath and close them with the out-breath. Or you can do the other breath rhythm as long as you're moving to the rhythm of your breath. So one phase of the breath, the knees go open, and the next phase they come together. And this movement helps to awaken the inner thighs and the pelvic floor muscles. And also is working a little bit through the outer thighs and hips. And let's just do that 2 more times to your own breath rhythm. Keeping the knees and feet together when you're done, and maybe just move the arms a little bit out of the way. So we'll let the knees roll to the right as the head rolls to the left, and we're not picking the feet up from the ground. We'll come back to center with the knees and the head, and then the knees can go left as the head rolls right. So inhale it up, and exhale, knees go right, head goes left. Inhale, we go up. And exhale, we go over. Left side with the knees, head turning opposite. Inhale up, and exhale over. Inhale up, and exhale over. Inhale up. Do it one more time. Exhale over. And exhale over. And come back to center and draw the knees into the chest. So this Uppanasana, knees to chest, if you like, when you bring the knees to the chest, you can also bring the forehead towards the knees, but mindful that you're not scrunching your shoulders or tensing. And then your inhale takes you back down. So with or without, your option is to lift your head up if you like. And then we go down. And we'll do that one last time. Placing the feet down, hip width apart. And finding the connection of the feet to stabilize your base. So feel the press down through the heels and the toes. This movement is a tilting of the pelvis. We call it pelvic rocking. We're not lifting or squeezing. We're keeping the pelvis down on the ground, but we're rocking the pubic bone away from the belly, which will arch the lower back curve. And then we're drawing the pubic bone towards the belly to flatten the lower back curve. So if you're familiar with cat-cow in yoga, it's that movement of the pelvis of cat-cow. Without, again, we're not trying to lift the pelvis from the floor. And moving to the rhythm of the breath, so one phase of the breath, you rock into your arched back, pubic bone forward, and then flat back without squeezing, pubic bone towards belly. And this movement can help us bring mobility into the lower back area in particular, which for many of us is often a tighter place in the spine from sitting a lot, from being in our car, sitting at a desk, or from standing with our back a little bit flat, our head a little bit forward. Let's just do that a couple more times. And this movement's also really helpful for helping us find neutral pelvis. So let's do that now. Neutral pelvis is somewhere between that arched back and flat back. So that you've got a little bit of a lower back curve. The pubic bone's not dropping to the ground or back towards the head. And you're wide across the front of the pelvis. So from one hip bone to the other, it's like there's a smile there. There's this nice big space for a smile. Or you could think of that as your bikini line from one hip bone to the other. And we're taking that bikini line and just asking it to move down towards the ground a little bit. So we're feeling for stability. But again, we're avoiding clenching the buttocks or the back or the shoulders or the tailbone. So we were activating the low belly area, pubic bone lengthening to belly, the low ribs dropping down towards the floor, but we're not holding our breath. So let's see how that works when we break it into a little bit of movement. And we'll take a block or something like a block to hold between the knees. From our big toes all the way up the inner legs to the pubic bone, that's called the big toe line. And it's our inner stabilizing line. So we hold onto the block, we find our neutral pelvis. We're not flattening the back, we're not overarching. We've got that wide smile drawing down, the ribs are quiet, but we're not clenching, we're still breathing. So we gently squeeze the block. We'll extend forward with the right leg. There's a little bit of a bend in my knee. I'm not over straightening the leg. I'm trying to keep the knees and the hip bones even. And I'm just practicing holding this with breath, which it's, well, I don't know for you, but for me it's more challenging than it looks. Yeah, so just be aware of how that feels for you on this side. If it feels like your body wants to tilt a bit, or if there's places in your body that want to grip. And then place your right foot down. So we're gently squeezing the block and we extend forward with that left heel, keeping the left knee a little bit bent. Knees are side by side, hips are even, breath is steady. So we're soft and relaxed in the face and the jaw and the tongue as we start to build strength. And you might notice one side's easier or feels different than the other. And then we'll place that down. We'll take the block out of the way and draw our knees into our chest. One more circling of our joints. We'll come over onto our side and up to hands and knees position. So in hands and knees position, knees are hip width apart and under the hips, and hands are under the shoulders, but for some of us, we might need to be propped on fists if we have wrist issues, or on forearms. So set it up where you're good in your wrists. And before we move in cat-cow, let's find neutral tabletop. And this is the foundation for plank. So that we've let the pelvis come to neutral, so we're not overarching or we're not flattening the lower back area. Our buttocks are relaxed. We've drawn the belly up towards the spine without clenching the buttocks. The space between the shoulder blades is a little bit lifted. We're not collapsing it. and the back of the head is aligned to the back of the spine, meaning we're not dropping the head forward. So we feel just a little bit of lift between the shoulder blades, and we let the collarbones be really wide. The throat is soft, so we're not lifting the chin. Same idea, we're finding the anchor in the low belly, maintaining a lower back curve, and finding our breath. From here, we'll start to move through cat and cow. And let's begin by coming into cat as we exhale, where we find that angry cat arched back position, looking in towards your belly. And then changing it through cow, where we lift through the tailbone and up through the chest and the gaze. Moving back and forth between cat, cow, to the rhythm of your breath. And noticing these two shapes we're asking of our spine. Cat, we're in flexion. Cow, we're in extension. So you can stay with exhaling into cat and inhaling into cow, or you can change up the breath as well. Just to be curious about how it feels to breathe in the opposite way, that you inhale into cat and you exhale into cow. And this cat-cow pattern is generally safe for all bodies. It's a really good movement for mobilizing the spine. So try a few more cycles of cat-cow. And then from cat, set yourself up in or towards child's pose, which means you may get your seat right down to your heels, or maybe you want to put something at the back for your seat, or just have your seat up. The forehead doesn't come to rest on the mat. You could stack your hands or your fists. And if it's not comfortable for you, then don't suffer here. You could lie on your back or your belly instead. So let's just be here for a few breaths, feeling the breath in the back of the body, in the lower back, in the middle back, in the upper back. Walking a little bit off to the right with your hands and your head. You could keep your seat down, or you could lift your seat up if that's more comfortable. So we come into a side stretch for the left side of the body. And we take that over towards the left. And walk back to center. You could walk your hands to your knees, tuck your chin, and roll up to your feet. If that's not an option, just make your way onto your seat. So we'll come onto our seat and bring the feet together. And we want the feet away from the pelvis, so you have a nice diamond shape. And first we'll try to sit up with some length, so we're not collapsing. And to feel this movement coming from the hip area of the pelvis to tilt forward. So just to where you can tilt forward. And then to place the hands where they're comfortable, maybe around the feet, or maybe up higher on the legs, and just allowing the body to drape forward. Staying here for a few breaths. Drawing the chin in slightly, coming all the way back up. Placing the feet quite wide, hands back, doing a few windshield wiper movements side to side. And then from here, we'll come down onto our back and take a moment to rest in Shavasana. And you're welcome to just ease your way down onto your back. Or if you want to try rolling down onto your back, you could also use your block. The legs could be bent, or you could have the legs extended straight. And this is a Pilates style roll down. So when you come down, we want to find the cat back. We want to reach back through the chest area so we can spoon and scoop the belly in. And you're trying to come down with control. And come all the way down to your back. You can take the block out of the way. And then just rest comfortably. Something under your knees if that feels better. Something under your head if you need. Closing the eyes. Letting your body rest in Shavasana. Letting go of effort. Letting go into the support of the ground beneath you. Easing your head slowly side to side. Drawing the knees towards you. Coming over onto one side to curl up into fetal position. And then using your hands to push down to help you come up. And sitting in a way that's comfortable for you with your eyes closed just for a couple breaths. Noticing how you feel. We'll take the hands together in Anjali Mudra. Namaste.